Welcome back to another Epidose of these crazy people that just keep looking at their watches and can't stop talking about it. Today, Justin and I are doing a short ribs video. That's right, we do long videos and short videos. The short ones are called short ribs. I'm thinking of calling the long ones the long bone, but we'll see. Well, I'm gonna run that through our marketing group and see if they can put a focus group on it and get back to me on whether I should call them the long bones or not. But anyways, what are we talking about today there, Justin?
Yeah, before we get started on the topic, I would like to remind everybody that's watching, please hit that like button, leave a comment, of course, about a previous video, carnivore keto questions, or today's video, as well as make sure you are subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell so that you know every single one of these times a meat mosaic short rib, or now I guess what we're calling long bone, drops in your news feed. So yeah, we greatly appreciate it. It helps us out. Lets us know that, hey, you guys want to see our faces and hear our voices and hear what we have to say. So it makes us feel a warm and sunny, warm and fuzzy inside and sunny inside. So speaking of feeling warm and fuzzy, today's topic is the Fitbit. So for those, there you go, you got to show them off. That is right. So for those in like the biohacking community, fitness community,
People want to tell time.
People that want to tell time, I suppose. Not all of them tell time though.
It's true.
But I think Fitbit's been around, what, like 5 years?
Much longer.
Much longer? Okay. I'm new. Okay. Tom's the historian for the Fitbit. So why don't we start with you, Tom? How did your Fitbit story start? When did you first get one?
So I think the reason why I got one is because I was getting more curious about like output and stuff like that, like how much energy I was using, stuff like that. And it's basically an electronic device that can measure all kinds of stuff, and they've gotten more and more sophisticated, right? I think the original Fitbits just kind of tracked how much you walked, or jogged or ran or whatever. And now they're pretty sophisticated, they're kind of a nice answer to everybody who's just annoyed by Apple Watches. So Justin and I are both using the FitBit Sense, which could tell you things like your O2 saturation while you're sleeping, which is handy because you might get a certain illness and you might be coughing up a lung and wondering how much oxygen you actually have in your blood. So it's good for stuff like that. I know for me personally, the first thing it did for me is kept me honest about how much I was sleeping, because it does a pretty good job of telling you how much you actually slept, as opposed to just how much time you spent in bed or whatever. I've talked about it many times. My biggest problem is getting enough sleep, and it's been something I've been working on for a couple of years now, or more, probably more like 3 or 4 years, and it's gotten much better. So that was the first thing that it really helped. And then now when I'm working out a lot, it helps me figure out how much energy I've used, and that's good because I'm a busy guy and I need to plan my meals ahead of time. Anybody seen my Instagram post knows that I do a lot of meal prepping, because a lot of times I take my food with me because I'm busy working, I'm busy sitting in traffic and trying to get to the gym. And if I didn't have any idea whether I'm burning 3,500 calories or 6,000 calories, I'd be kind of screwed.
Tom, we don't burn anything.
That's right. That's right. We can get into that too. We start picking out the whole language around calories, right? And we should do that too. But if you want to have a good idea of that sort of proxy for human energy, albeit well known as the
energy nutrition units, possibly,
yeah. So our closest analog for that is what is known as a calorie, or the heat unit of energy derived from material that's combusted in a machine somewhere. That's kind of the closest analog we have for converting food into energy in the human body. So it's very handy for that. And it keeps track of things like your heart rate and stuff like that. They can do you can use the watch to try and detect like your sinus rhythm and stuff like that, see if it looks healthy, stuff like that. But it keeps track of all kinds of things. And you can use the app to log in your food if you want, right?
Yeah. Did you want me to show off the dashboard, or did you have more
Please
to
do.
say? Okay. Exhibit A.
So Justin and I are working on a big project. It's supposed to start the new year. This is we're actually recording on January 31st.
31st. Ooh.
So we've been working on this. We're calling it the Feed the Bonfire Project, and our idea is to eat continuously, to eat small meals based on our hunger. So instead of fasting and feasting or OMADing or starving ourselves and drinking bone broth, we're going to just keep eating and try and match our hunger. And one of the things was you supposedly, when you keep eating to satisfy your hunger, people typically get leaner. They kind of go towards a more ideal state of body composition. And we were curious, would we automatically just eat in a deficit without even trying? So the Fitbit data will help us determine that. So what are you showing us here, Justin?
Yeah. So the first thing is steps. It's big on steps. It sets the goal at 10,000 steps a day. It's not really my personal goal. I'm not really too terribly concerned with steps. But I think it's neat, good for other people, is to know how much I walk on average. So you can see the days where like I'm working. So I stay at home to work. So I don't move around much typically when I'm working. I will go out for an evening walk or a walk during my lunch, a half-hour walk or so. So it looks here in an average week, I get about 7,000 steps, I guess, a day or something like that. But like yesterday, I walked a lot because I was out all day. I worked only a partial shift because, again, the holiday. Today, I've been off all day. I'm almost to the 10,000. I'll probably get there today, even with just the rest of what I've got to do around the apartment. This is from doing laundry, working out, and I went for like a small walk. So there you go. It tracks that. So there's steps again. I'm almost there. Here's calories.
Let me ask you real quick, since you got a new couch, have you noticed your steps have gone down any?
No, because I was just laying on the floor instead of laying on the couch.
Oh, okay.
So no, not too much. Let's see. This thing, it tries to get you, I actually think this is annoying. I actually want to turn this feature off. It tries to get you to walk 250 steps an hour or so, or like 300 steps an hour. I'm
Yeah, I
not
think
sure.
it's 250 is like the default.
Yeah, exactly. I personally find it annoying just because it's like I'm working. I can't just get up and walk around,
Well,
even if I wanted to.
you could get one of those treadmills in front of your computer, like uh McGregor. What's his name? Dr. Gregor.
Oh, Ian McGregor. Yeah.
No, the vegan guy.
Dr. Gregor. Yeah.
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 The vegan Skeletor guy with a big
Right.
head. Yeah.
So yeah, because my watch will buzz and I'm like, oh, it's not telling me anything important. Like, hey, you're losing oxygen or something. It's like, oh, you haven't got it up and walked. It's like, yeah, I'm not trying to. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I mean, we could see how that could be helpful for people who are just
yeah,
trying to be more active, right? It isn't necessarily, because I mean, same thing here. When I'm working, I don't need a prompt to say, hey, you haven't walked 250 steps this hour. It's like, well, yeah, but because I mean, at the end of the day, if you wind up walking 25,000 steps, but not while you're working, and what's the difference, right? But if you're a relatively sedentary person and you need a reminder, that sort of stuff is baked in on a system like this.
yes, absolutely, yeah. If I was in a different position, yeah, I think I might. It's a good reminder, like you said. I might use it more if circumstances were different. Here's today's calories, I think. Yeah, I've burned like 2,000. We'll get more into this in a minute. But today I've burned 2,000, eat eaten 2,500. So yeah, not really loose on my calories, but not really, I'm trying to be I'm trying to just see what I naturally eating when I'm hungry, right? That's step one of the program of building the bonfire. Despite having the low walking, I got 68 active minutes. And that's the default goal is 30. So I'm 227% above that. And and what a part of that is doing the X3 bar in the morning. So it tracks activity because it's tied to your heart rate. And so if it sees your elevated heart rate, it assumes that you're working out. And so it'll kick that in. Another reason why I don't walk too much is that I live on the 4th floor. So I got 8 floors every time I go outside, out of my apartment. So today, because I did do laundry and a few other things, I've walked 22 floors today. And there's a base of 10. So that's easy for me to do, even just going outside and around. Again, average heart rate for the month. So the lowest was 63, and I'm guessing that's sleeping, but I'm not sure. Resting heart rate, and as high as 73. So about a 10 beat average.
Let me pause you right there, because I want to point out something that is not going to be apparent by looking at this. But one of the nice things the software does for you is it looks at your daytime resting heart rate. Well, you can see here, I think Justin's is 73 today.
Yeah.
And it'll compare it to your nighttime resting heart rate. And it's a good way to understand how much you recover from your day while you're sleeping. So, let's say you're working out hard and you're wondering how hard to hit it at the gym the next day, or if you're feeling like you don't have quite as much energy, you can go and look, and it'll tell you while you were sleeping how much your heart rate was below the daytime resting heart rate while you're sleeping. And the more time your heart spent below that rate while you're sleeping, typically the better recovered you are. And I can say from my personal experience, it seems to be quite accurate. So that's another sort of step into the fitness world that I think in the past is basically the Whoop strap kind of had the advantage on that. But of course, instead of wearing a chest strap or one of those crazy new wrist straps that they have that doesn't really do anything else but look like some strange bracelet, the Fitbit will do that for you as a device that you just wear like a normal watch, right? And I think the thing with Whoop strap is they don't necessarily charge you for it anymore, but they charge you a monthly fee for that. So to get the premium Fitbit, yeah, I think it does cost $10 a month, or $8 a month or something like that, to get all the features, to get access to all the features. But the basic features are free. So
well, you have to buy the watch, but yeah, aside from
you
buying
have to
watch,
get a watch somehow. I'm not saying you have to buy it, but probably the prudent thing to do.
So just like Tom, one of the things that convinced me to get the Fitbit, especially the Fitbit Sense, is the sleep tracking. So it does typically give you a sleep score. Like mine today is 76. For some reason on the desktop, the scores aren't there. Why? Don't know. But like the ones with the stars are you got in 8 hours. Again, that's a default. And then you can click in, and then it shows you what I think is really, really cool is this deep sleep. It shows the cycles, right? So the more deep sleep, I think, is like the best sleep. And you've got a light sleep, and then a super light sleep, and then awake, right? So I had a bit of trouble between, like, I was awake for 9 minutes in the middle of the night, which isn't bad for me. This is more in the morning. This is typically when I wake up. This is kind of how I wake up. And then I try to get back to sleep, and then I'm back awake and then asleep. So this is those weird groggy mornings, right? Where you don't know. I can't believe I actually went to I mean, I was awake, and then I think was it say REM for 22 minutes, and then what was this? REM for 22 minutes 30 seconds. I'm trying to grab that little thing of deep right here. I think it's too shallow. Anyway, so it's pretty interesting. Awake a minute, and then light, and then deep. Yeah, just really interesting. I stared at this forever. And then it shows you here just the total time. Um, so you want to get, really good deep, some light, a good amount of REM, and very little. And as I was awake 24 times, I guess, which sounds like me. My sleep issue isn't, see, I fall asleep great. My beginning is always fantastic. It's staying asleep, which is my struggle. And I don't quite know how to fix that, but my workaround for that has been to go to sleep early, which I failed to do yesterday for a variety of reasons. But really cool, really great information still. I really like the sleep. I don't know where to find the resting heart rate when sleeping. Is that a premium feature,
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, I think it
Okay,
is. Yeah,
right.
and I don't see it on the desktop like I do on my on my phone app. So the mobile app and the desktop app do look a little bit different. So um I don't know, maybe I'll have to like take some screenshots or whatever to show that. But I find it handy because one of the things about having been on carnivore for so long, I noticed like my capacity for working out just seems to keep increasing. But I'm also just turned 51. So I don't really want to hurt myself, but I do enjoy the fact that my workouts get more and more aggressive and I get more and more done. At the same time, I worked out I think every day but 4 days out of 60 days. And then I got a really nasty sore throat. So one of my first thoughts was because I noticed like my output was going down and my appetite was going down. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And all of a sudden I was sick. So now I'm starting to wonder if maybe I might have pushed myself a little too hard. And part of me is like kind of shocked at how easy it was to push myself too hard, which I probably just needed to take, a day off a week or something. But I was really enjoying the momentum of just working out every day. So, anyways, perhaps I should have looked a little more closely at the recoveries I was getting.
So this is my food log for today. You can see calories again, the debate over calories. It says I'm under, but the day's not over yet. So supposedly I burned like 2,100 calories. Um, and then these are typical macros for a carnivore. So you'll have, and I mean by percentages. So like roughly 50% fat and 50% protein is kind of baseline for most carnivores. And usually they adjust from that. um, that's a lot of carbs. I'm not quite sure where that's coming from exactly. I don't know if it's the cream cheese or what. I'm still haven't gotten the food logging down exactly right. Um, but I do the best that I
I
can with
think
it.
I think like an egg can have up to somewhere between a half and like 7/10 of a gram of carbohydrate in it. So could be that, could be cheese or something that you had, cream cheese.
Right. And so what a thing that people have to, and I know this is somewhat debated, but the net carbs versus total carbs, right? So typically the carbs in dairy you divide in half roughly, um, because you're only absorbing a smaller amount of that. The half of it is you're actually absorbing or something like that. I haven't gotten into that in a while. I used to know what that was about. Other people argue that carbs is carbs. Like I said, it's debatable. Because other people would look at this and be like, oh no, you're gonna pop yourself out of ketosis, which again, carnivore ketosis, not necessarily one and the same, not necessarily a goal. But yeah, we can look at this probiotic cream cheese that I had and see the carbohydrates, which is kind of cool. So there was 6 grams of saturated fat, So 2 grams of carbohydrate, 1 gram of sugar, I'm guessing that's lactose, and a gram of protein. So yeah, I don't know where the carbs are necessarily coming from.
Yeah, it's probably a combination of the eggs or the cream cheese and stuff like that.
I did have these pork rinds, 11 grams of protein. So yeah, a little bit of fat in there. Anyway, I mean, that's the chicken thighs. Oh, the
So
chicken thighs, I guess just whichever ones I have on here. I don't know where they're getting 12 grams of carbohydrates from chicken thighs, but there you go. That's where my carbohydrates are coming from.
interesting.
But again, there's probably other different chicken thighs. You know, again, still trying to get it all put together, maybe seasonings or something on it, but no, not to jump into this too much. But yeah, food log, trying to get it for the project and everything. Yeah, and then water I don't really track. I've got something else that tracks that. And you can add friends, you can obviously put a weight goal. And you can mess with all the different settings as much as you want, go into things. I could probably turn this off if I want, something like that. You sure you want to remove? Sure. I don't think that removed it. I think it's still going to bug me. I just removed it from the dashboard. Whatever. Anyway, I'll stop sharing the screen so we can chat.
So were you kind of surprised when you finally got some understanding of how much energy you were using in a day?
Yeah, I was probably under eating, honestly. Now I'm overeating, which is fine, I feel like. I typically burn 1,800, 2,100 calories a day, and I'm getting upwards of 2,500 a day, but I feel good that way, and at worst, I'll build muscle, right? Because I am under the theory, I'm not having cream cheese and pork rinds as the majority of my food, right? That was just a little, it's New Year's Eve. That's just a little fun snack, right? In my typical meals, if I'm over the calories, my body's either just going to burn it, I'm going to poop it, or I'm going to use it to build. It's going to be a bunch of protein, so my body's going to use it to build, right? And so I think you could break it down, but if we want to look at my average protein, I think, let's see if this has proteins in a week or something like that. Here we go. That's days. I don't think you can select.
Why don't you tell everybody how much you're working out?
Yeah, so I'm doing the X3 bar, which takes me about a half hour a day. I'm doing a HIIT carbohydrate. So on a typical day, I work out an hour at least. If I get in a couple of walks, that goes up to an hour and a half, possibly 2 hours, if I'm out, really in a walking mood and things like that. So yeah, anywhere between an hour to 2 hours a day, roughly. Yeah, I'm working out. And then it also has this thing called the zone, where if you got your heartbeat above so many, then it puts you in the zone, and then that's supposed to be really good for you.
Yeah, you can use the FitBit Sense for heart rate variability training as well, which is like a big thing for people. So I think you're kind of, don't only put words in your mouth, but you're probably kind of in the middle of setting goals for our big 6-month experiment coming up, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's the bigger goal, but this is a good start, is seeing how much I'm actually eating this way, and seeing what that does to my body, and then making adjustments from there to fit the goal, whether it's cutting fat, doing fasting, or whatever ends up happening. But if I end up building, that'll be exciting, because I consider myself one of those hard gainers, right? And so they say for hard gainers, you got to eat, and I'm trying to eat. I'm hungry right now. And so, yeah, that's kind of the goal. And I'm also just trying to prove because I have this bigger idea of you can't get fat on carnivore, because the Fitbit sees me going over calories and it's concerned because it thinks I'm eating carbohydrates, fats, protein, which on some level I am, but it's, the Fitbit isn't adjusted for a keto or a carnivore lifestyle, whereas many food trackers aren't. And so calories, it's what you get, you
Well, I think you kind of
plus.
stated it. You stated it. You're a hard gainer, right? So somebody like you is it would be hard for you to get, let's say, fat. Add a bunch of body fat on a carnivore would be tough, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And every calorie isn't the same, right? So a calorie of protein, you subtract by 4, and or don't, it better than me, Tom. How
Yeah,
does
we
it?
should just do a whole nother video. We should do it again on calories and the whole issue. We talk about calories because it's the best metric we have, but it's a flawed sort of concept for a lot of ways. And for most people, maybe it doesn't matter, but for people who are really trying to hit a goal, or they're having problems, then it pays to understand the nuances of the calorie concept and why it doesn't always work out the way we expect it to.
Yeah, exactly. But basically, the calories that are playing on there is not that it's not applicable, but
Well, protein, you got to look at protein different than
right,
carbohydrates and fat for sure, because fat is, every gram of fat is 9 calories, and it tends to go directly to fuel, right? Same thing with carbohydrates. They pretty much go straight for anything that's digestible in a carbohydrate. We can exclude the indigestible fiber or whatever, but they pretty much go straight for fuel. Whereas protein, if you're relying on protein for fuel, a good percentage of that, maybe a third of that protein, winds up being used up in the process of converting it to energy. So before it actually becomes energy your body can utilize, it must consume some of that protein to convert it to that fuel. So yeah.
right, exactly. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, so that's it, but that's for other videos. That's the Fitbit though. I'm enjoying it. I thought I'd feel weird wearing a watch again, because I'm just so used to looking at time on my phone, and it's like, who wears a watch? But the Fitbit Sense is very comfortable, even with the just basic band that it came with. I know Tom has the steel band, if I remember right.
Yeah, I've got like a braided steel band that I like it because it breathes. It's a braided stainless steel that you can kind of see through it. It's kind of, you think you can kind of see in there. But and of course the back of the watch is bristling with sensors. So I don't know if you can see the little lights, but I like it. I always charge mine when I'm taking a shower, and when I'm at the gym and I'm getting sweaty, the stainless steel band breathes, so you don't get that sweat trapped under your watch band. It dries very, very quickly, and it's easy to keep clean. So
And just a few other little neat features. You can take calls on it. The sound volume isn't the absolute best or anything, but you can play music on it if you've got a SoundCloud account or something like that. You
yeah,
can,
you could store music in it, and Bluetooth it to your headphones, so you can leave your phone behind if you're going for a jog or something.
you have to teach me how to do that, because I would like to do that, but that's for another time. And then uh, you can check the weather. It's got that EKG. Is that what it's called on it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is neat. I haven't used that yet. So yeah, it's got a bunch of neat stuff. And Tom, you also do not have the premium, right? You're just on the basic, or are you paying for the
I
premium?
have the premium.
Oh, okay. So Mr. Fancy Pants. So I'm on the basic and I still very much enjoy it. I like all the info still. I feel like I'm getting a lot out of it. I feel the $10 is probably worth it, but I'm doing fine with the basic. But uh yeah, that's, I really
I
like it.
I would definitely, especially this is your first Fitbit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would definitely just try the basics, free service with it, and then if you really get into it and want the other features, then pay for it later. Because, like a lot of things, people buy a fancy toy with good intentions and they don't really use it. So why be paying for premium service if you find it doesn't really help you meet your goals, if it doesn't really keep you enthralled every day. So this is my second Fitbit watch. I had the I forgot what model, and I actually bought this model because I actually smashed my old watch. So I ran it into a door jamb one too many times and it exploded. So I was like, I'll get the latest, the greatest model. So I've had it, I don't know, probably at least 6 months now, something like that. I really enjoy it. So
Yeah, and I'm brand new. I think I've had mine for a month and a half, maybe something like that. So it's taken me a while. And there's a Fitbit community groups. You can add friends. I just added Tom recently and another friend, so we can bug each other. I don't know how much data we can dig into on each other's, but that's pretty fun. You can cheer people on, send a message, all that good stuff. There's communities and groups, which me and Tom are in talks about starting a carnivore community of some kind in the Fitbit community, which I think would be really cool. And so, yeah, I might as well take advantage. And I understand the privacy concerns, and that's a personal decision. If you would have asked me 3-4 years ago, I'd probably been like, oh, there's no way I'm going to have something that tracks me and that can listen to me and tracks my heart rate and stuff like that. But as far as things have come, there was a lot of lawsuits between now and then. And so I think that's kind of been sorted out, and they can't really sell that data. Or maybe I think they could sell it, but they can't really give it to police without a good reason. I think there have been some Fourth Amendment victories in this data department, but that's a different conversation. If you live in another country, that might be a different story. But I have Facebook. I'm on Instagram. People know where I'm at. If the government or whoever wanted to come and pick me up, they know where to find me.
yeah, you
So
wouldn't be hard to find.
right, exactly. Most people aren't, right? And so if you're,
Yeah.
I get it. It's a personal decision, but I just wanted to bring it up just
Yeah,
to
I mean,
know that.
everybody has to make those personal choices. I mean, I like all the stuff that in a way the Fitbit in the software allows you to do a lot of personal record keeping. Like when I go to the gym, I just tell it whatever exercise I'm doing. Like if I'm on the treadmill, I say I'm on the treadmill now. If I'm lifting weights, I'm lifting weights now, and so on and so forth, and I like the fact that it just helps me keep a record of what I'm doing. And then, it lets me sort of evaluate my performance as I go along, see if I'm making progress. So if you're not making progress, then you want to make some changes, right?
Right. And I just want to mention, at least with the Fitbit Sense, there's no annoying ads or anything like that either. It's strictly your data, and what you want. It's fully customizable from what I can see. And yeah, so to me, okay, fine. They know where I'm at a little bit more. Okay. They know my heart rate. I don't know how that's important to anybody, government or otherwise, what that would be useful for. And so to me, the trade-off, whatever it is worth it. I like the information. It helps me out. Ooh, they know when I'm sleeping. It's typically when most people sleep. So again, they could determine that other way. So it just, to me, logically, I did go through the steps before purchasing, and I was like, you know what, they're not going to learn anything about me that, except that, hey, this guy's really fit, so maybe we shouldn't mess with them, or we have to bring bigger guns. I don't know.
They got to send Jason Bourne or not send no one.
Right.
All right. Well, I think we gave people a good idea of what the Fitbit Sense can do for them, what we're using it for. Maybe we'll start our own little Fitbit community. So for other people are interested in comparing results and setting new goals for the new year, it might be a nice tool to have. So let us know what your favorite fitness tracker is. Maybe you've got one you like to use. Maybe you're an Apple junkie and you actually use your Apple
You
Watch.
poor soul.
Go ahead and beat us up in the comment section if you're a diehard Apple fan. I know I got friends that work there, and they're probably getting a little teary-eyed right now if they ever watch this video, but that's okay, because we can't all be fanboys for the same film, right?
Right.
So anyways, let us know what your goals are for the new year. Until next time, eat some meat, feel better, and whatever you do, don't fall
Fall
down
down the carb
apple hole.
hole.